If you do the math on it, I mean, it's $10 a month times 12. That's $120 a year.
I mean, how much is gas too, right?
Yeah, it's nuts. Yep. 9:34. Jason Solis, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. Wonderful interview coming up right now. We are going to talk to our friends from the Medical Assistant Student Organization over at the Guam Community College. This is a wonderful organization, and you know, I was saying this earlier in the show. They participated in the homeless count right now, and making sure that we account for the people in our island community, you know, who do not have a permanent place of residence, and making sure how is their mental health, how is their physical health, do they need anything, you know, do we know how many there are? That's very, very important, and for these young people that are learning what it takes to be in Guam's unified healthcare system and actually be a part of that network and that community, very, very critical. So we welcome to the show Jeanette Yara, the president of the Medical Assistant Student Organization, as well as Cassandra Chang. She is the public relations officer. Ladies, good morning and half a day. So good to have you with us today.
Good morning.
And thank you for this this wonderful work that you're doing to help Guam. So can you maybe just like tell me a little bit about the organization first, and you know, like how many people belong to the Medical Assistant Student Organization at GCC, and you know, what is the primary mission?
Actually, Jason, so we are in, and yes, I am the president, and Cassandra is the PRO for the Medical Assistant Student Organization. But when we went out to do the count for the Guam homeless count, it was under the Medical Assisting Program, not the student organization.
All right. So, Cassandra, what is do you guys do a lot, since you are the PR officer and everything, like do you do like a student recruitment, or do you have to be declared under a particular major if you want to participate, and like how can you get involved?
So basically, the Medical Assistant Student Organization is open to all the medical assistant students under the program. You do have to be in the program. We actually just welcomed a new cohort to the program. So it's pretty much open.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I would say the one thing that you do have to have on your resume or your LinkedIn profile is you do have to have a genuine calling to serve Guam and to want to take care of people, because you know, Lord knows, even in these days, you know, with the pandemic, healthcare is so necessary, and there's so many people getting involved because they want to say, you know, I never considered being in healthcare, but you know, I want to get in the fight. I want to take care of my neighbors. I want to take care of people I don't even know on the island. So what has it been, maybe for the last several months, the last couple of years that you guys have been involved with healthcare? Has it really like given you new perspective on what it means to want to take up that profession?
Well, for me personally, I knew I've always wanted to be in healthcare. Mm-hmm. And the Medical Assistant Student Organization and the program in itself just opened up more opportunities for me to get involved into the community and to help others, especially, you know, the one that we just did with the Guam Homeless Coalition. It was really eye-opening to see like other people who are in need around us, and we don't, you know, we're not as aware of it. And yeah, it's been really great.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ms. Jeanette, when it comes to tabulating and making sure that we account for our island's homeless, that's usually something I know that normally falls under the umbrella of like social workers and everything like that. But this is very, very important for your organization, like as well. So what was your roles of responsibility when you helped out with the homeless count?
This is not my first year doing it,
mm-hmm.
But this year was the first year I was a team leader. So I had a team go out with me, and we had to identify. We were given maps with shaded areas so that we know what areas we're going to, and we had to while we were driving, we had to try and identify which homes were considered substandard under the HUD regulations. And again, this is the first year that I've done substandard homes. The previous years that I've done taken part in the homeless count, I've done the strictly homeless, on the street homeless.
Now there is an important distinction to be made, because a lot of people on Guam, they think when they say, oh, okay, well, we're putting together the homeless census, and people it's like, well, it's probably like 100, because I see some people, you know, standing in the median, you know, like with a big sign that says, you know, God bless you, can you please help me? Or, you know, I mean, they're all very, very unfortunate stories. But the the spectrum of exactly who is considered by definition homeless is actually a lot wider than people would think.
Correct. And even when we did the interviews, when I was talking to people, and something that I had suggested to the team, to my team members when we go out, is maybe because we were doing the substandard homes, not to use the word homeless. Some people get offended, and so when I would start the interview, I would just of course introduce myself, tell them I'm with the Guam Coalition. I even left out the word homeless, and I would just tell them that we're doing a survey and we're interviewing those that were in substandard homes, just so that we can get a better count of the community in the substandard homes, so that the government can get better assistance for them.
That's very key, I would think, because, and that's something critical as you go into your professional careers as healthcare workers, is maintaining and ensuring the dignity of the client or the patient or the participant or the collaborator, what have you, whatever the situation calls upon, and everything like that. That's a very important thing to take into consideration.
Correct. And this was a good experience for us to practice our soft skills, our socializing skills, especially in the era that we're in now. Everybody, it's all technology. People sometimes don't know how to, or they don't feel comfortable talking face to face to someone because they're not used to it.
Exactly.
And so in our field, that's something we're going to need to do, and so this was a good practice for us.
Now, Cassandra, if I may, with our job over here at KUM, when the pandemic first started, making sure that we take care of our islands, like homeless, was so important, because elected leaders were even saying, and people that work in various government agencies, they were like, we have to make sure that these people have access to resources whenever a vaccine comes out, and obviously it has now. We need to make sure that they can get that as well. We have to make sure that they have a safe and clean place to stay, because we don't want them spreading the disease throughout the community as well, the virus, I should say. So what did you learn about maybe like the methods that you applied to to find out these people and to gather the data?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh, okay. So what did you learn about, what method did you guys use when you did gather the data, or you helped out with the Guam Homeless Coalition?
So prior to going to the homeless count, we were tested. 2 days prior, we were tested, and obviously if you came back positive, you weren't able to participate. We were fit tested also for N95 masks. So each person participating in the count wore one. We were also given extra ones just in case the first one that we wore would somehow not be able to be, used. We were also given face shields and extra masks for those that we would survey and they probably wouldn't have a mask available to them. We would give them a mask just to make sure that, we're all being safe, especially with what's going on now.
What did this experience teach the both of you, and maybe even Jeanette, maybe more broader? What did this teach your team, and what lessons can you take away from this experience that you might not be able to learn in a Zoom call or on a book, or in some sort of lesson and everything like that? Certainly, this experience was invaluable to the both of you.
So for me, I am I believe I'm the oldest one out of the class. So my views compared to some of the other classmates may be different, because a lot of them are younger and may not have experienced something like this before. Like I said, I've experienced working with the homeless community. I've worked with Guam Behavioral before, so the work I've done with people may be different than what my younger classmates have experienced. But for me, I know when we were talking, looking at the different substandard homes, so sometimes we take for granted what we have, and even personally, when I talk to my kids about it, I try to remind them, we may not have everything, but you should be grateful for what you do have. This is the kind of work I'm doing. And of course, because of confidentiality, there's not too much I can say, but I was able to describe like some of the homes that people are living in. And some people, they choose to live the way they do. It's not necessarily that they don't have a place to go, but it could just be property inherited from family, and they want to stay there. And so some of them just want a little shack. They're comfortable with that, and it's not necessarily that they can't have a better home. It's just a personal preference, and we have to remember that some people just like simple, and we can't judge others just because of what they live in. I know quite a few people who they have the means to go and rent or build a home, but they like the ranch style kind of life, or they like the rain hitting on the tin, because they're a little bit older, and that's what they enjoy. So it's not necessarily, and that's something, especially now there's even other nonprofit organizations that I'm part of, and the judging has, at least for me personally, has really come down a lot. I can't sit there and judge a person just by how they look or what they wear, what they live, what car they're driving.
That is a beautiful message, Jeanette. Thank you for sharing that. That's a type of honesty and the type of pragmatism that I think we really, really need, and certainly that our unified healthcare system is greatly going to benefit. So that's wonderful. Cassandra, how about you? Do you have anything to share about what this experience taught you?
I have to strongly agree with Jeanette. It was a very humbling experience. She's right. Working in healthcare, it is easy to judge those that we help, and just doing this, it opened our eyes, and it's not everyone has what we have. Not everyone is fortunate like us, and I feel like that really taught us that we don't all come from the same place, and it's
Would even that being the case, would you say that there was a little bit of empathy that you were able to take away? And even though somebody may be in a very unfortunate situation, or like Jeanette said, some people just make the decision and they're happy as a clam to live in the situation that they're in. Did you feel like you were able to take away some sort of commonality with the people that you interacted with?
Yes, absolutely. It also taught us how to talk to those people, dealing with different backgrounds and different, like, for example, the living situations. It taught us how to communicate with them and to empathize and to be sincere and to not, kind of like a watch what you say kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I absolutely know what you're talking about. Like, the best life lesson I ever got when I started here at KUM 22 years ago, a really good friend of mine, he's no longer with us, but he used to be Sabrina's on-air partner, and he said, best advice I can give you is when you go on the air and you do TV, hear it in your brain before you hear it come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like the same thing and everything like that. You have that understanding, and you want to make sure that you really have a grasp of of what you're trying to do. So ladies, thank you so much for sharing this experience, and again, doing what you can for our island community. May I ask though, do you guys have like an Instagram feed for your organization, or is there a page where people can check out if they have been inspired by this interview and they'd like to say, hey, I saw Jeanette and Cassandra talk about this wonderful thing, I want to get involved, I'm in, they sold me?
Yes, we do have an Instagram. It is gcc.maso. It's for our student organization. On the Instagram, we do post updates, especially our fundraisers. Our fundraisers tend to be very popular. So anyone can follow and just share along in our journey as medical assistant students.
Very nice. And it is a very, very necessary journey. And Jeanette, I'd like to give you the last word, because like you said, this isn't your first go around, not your first rodeo doing this. So you've got a lot of experience, obviously, but maybe more to the point, you've got a lot of compassion, and you've got a lot of drive, and you're doing this for all the right reasons. So thank you.
So Jason, I do want to say, for the community or those watching, if maybe they've never heard of the Guam Homeless Coalition, the pit count that's done yearly, because all the times I've been on Guam, I never heard it until I think I first started it about 4 or 5 years ago. And it could just be because I wasn't in tune with that with the homeless community or the human services social work kind of aspect. But there's some people who may not even know we do this, and they need volunteers. If you're able to volunteer, this is done yearly at the end of January, every year. So if you can come out and volunteer to help out the Homeless Coalition.
And you know what? It's official right now. We are technically at the end of January. It's February 1st, so no time like the present. If you guys feel this is not a job, it's a calling, and if you feel you have the motivation and the compassion within you to get involved with these wonderful ladies and their team as well and everything, please get involved with the Medical Assistance Student Organization over at GCC. Ladies, congratulations to you and thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Anytime you guys want to come on the show, man. Like I love talking to people who love Guam and love making our island community so much better. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right.
Thank
you
you,
too.
ladies. Be safer. All right.
Good people doing good things, man.
I love it, man, Jay. Like-minded folks, bro, and you're a good one too. 950. We're brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box. We're going to take just a quick break, and we're coming back to wrap up the show. Next, right here on the link. Good morning.
Hafa Guam, our community partner, APL, invites the public to a donation drive to benefit Harvest House right here at home. Join us on Saturday, February 5th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Costules in Tamuning, where we will be accepting donations. Your contribution would go a long way to supporting our community and those who have come to rely on Harvest House.